Welcome to the Instant Gratitude Now podcast. We are broadcasting vibrancy everywhere. I am Ilana Kristeva, self-care vigilante and founder of Field of Choices, where we play well, sleep well, to serve well. Everywhere I look, I can find something awful. But my self-care vigilante lifestyle keeps me robust, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Join me on this journey of transforming something we perceive as awful into something awesome. Today's podcast, April 2nd, 2020, is entitled Nature is Our Nature, episode number 1 of my Sedona Superteam series. Meet Sedona Superteam member Joan Marie, founder of Compassion Central and Mirth to Earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Instant Gratitude Now podcast. We are broadcasting vibrancy everywhere. My name is Ilana Kristeva. You know me as the self-care vigilante, and I am the founder of Field of Choices, where leaders and coaches play well, sleep well, to serve well. As you may know, I am a little non-traditional when it comes to teaching classes or hosting podcasts online. And some people may say, oh, well, you're just not very well prepared and you don't have notes and you don't use a script. Well, what I have is a willingness to be completely vulnerable, a willingness to share from the heart and be spontaneous, and a willingness to trust that the universe knows more of what needs to be shared, what needs to be said, what needs to be broadcast vibrationally here and now in the present, and at any moment when anyone is clicking the recording to listen or watch any of my classes or my podcasts. So with that, I am non-traditional in that I do not read a script or the media one sheet, but I'll share with you. I have here the media one sheet for my guest today. Her name is Joan Marie, and I will share with you my experience with her just for a couple of minutes before introducing her, because she does have a beautiful resume. She does have a wonderful media sheet. But for what we are doing right now, honoring what the universe wants us to share, I will get intimate with you and say that you probably know that I'm not on the social media very much. I'm not big on that for my own personal reasons. But I happened to establish a profile of mine on a social media platform last year in 2019. And without searching, the universe brought me this woman. And I'm not into spending lots of time reading and searching and doing all the fabulous things using the tools that social media offers. So I saw it as a sign when I discovered this woman. Did I connect with her? I called her. I picked up the phone. Yes, there's Joan right there. I picked up the phone and I called her and I listened to her voice. I listened to her outgoing message, and everything confirmed for me. I don't know if you can feel it, but in my body right now, I'm just really experiencing it, and the joy. I hope you can hear it in my voice. I hope you can see it in my face. My experience in listening to her voice was, yes, leave a message with this person. Connect, create a relationship with this person. The universe gave me a green light on every level. I felt good physically. My spirit was happy, and I felt this comfort come over me in hearing her voice. And I left her a pretty long message. So just shorten the story a little bit and say that with tremendous faith, trust, and my vibrant tribe, my vibrant family, I really go by my gut. I mean, really go on my gut, and I trust my gut, my subconscious brain, the key brain for my body, my vibrancy, the key to my vibrancy. I trusted my gut, my intuition. I left her the message. She did return my call. We did connect. And it wasn't very long before I asked her to join me on my journey. And as some of you know, I go to Sedona, Arizona, and I am one with Mother Nature's fantastic playground. And I invited her to join me. Mind you, I knew her for a very brief time, and I knew to ask her to join me, to be on my Sedona Superteam, to come out to Sedona, Arizona with me. We never even shared a dinner together. And I'm asking this woman to come out with me to my secret playground where I was enjoying, me, myself, and I enjoying it myself. And she did not say yes immediately, but I'll let her share with you. I'd like to introduce to you now this woman who I felt great comfort connecting with, that the universe gave me this green light, the woman who said yes in trusting the universe and trusting me that we would be able to share time together in a place where we had never been together at the same time, and had a wonderful experience. And this is timely in what we're going through right now with the coronavirus pandemic. We're really learning to go to a deeper level in trusting our intuition and trusting our fellow sisters and brothers on planet Earth. Joan, I'd like to introduce you now. Say hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. Sorry, I laughed with what you were saying, but it was true, and I'm so grateful to be on this call with you today.
Yeah, thank you. No worries about laughter. As many people know, I believe that laughter is key to processing whatever medication we're on. It is key to healing. And I am so grateful that laughter is contagious, because when you laughed, I broke out in a huge smile too. When we talked about doing this podcast, share with me, share with everyone, you picked this date. You picked this date, April 2nd, 2020 at 2:00 in the afternoon. Go ahead, share with everyone what you were thinking, what you were feeling.
Well, I dabble a little. I'm definitely not an expert in any way with numerology, but I love numbers and sequences and things like that. I think that that's one of the ways that spirit nudges us and gives us clues to things. And so there were a whole lot of twos in there. And that felt, it just felt right, and so totaling the numbers up, it's 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So it ends up being a 10. And 10 is symbolic of 1 and 0, which is a balance of the masculine, which would be a 1, and a 0, which is the feminine, which is, circular. So I thought, oh, this sounds good to me. Let's do the date.
Well, here we are. So if anyone out there is watching this recording, you know exactly the date and the time. And go ahead and share with me. We did not know each other for very long. Other super team members and I have had one-on-one relationships for quite a long time. Some of us have known each other for years as holistic practitioners working together in collaboration, and athletes with me in collaboration in our tribe to bring energy medicine and psychology in combination with traditional medicine to support athletes around the world. Share with everyone who's watching today what you are thinking and what you are feeling.
Well, I had laughed when you were sharing because my process is similar to yours. That I feel that I have an intimate relationship with spirit, and I call it communing. And the more we commune within ourselves, the more we're able to commune with others. And so I really checked in. I was kind of taken aback because I had never thought about something like that. And there were a couple things that, first my doubter usually comes up. And so I hear a lot about why I shouldn't do something. And if I just hang out with that and explore it and let it be there, then that allows other parts to come in and bring why I should and why I shouldn't. So then there's a balancing in that. And so a couple of the things that really ended up getting me to say yes was I had been to Sedona before, but I had always gone with people that were more on the tourist thought line. And so they never wanted to explore what the energetics of are in that special area on our planet. And so that had me really curious and a very strong yes. And then the other yes was the thought of going with a group of people that I didn't know, but were of like mind. And that really juiced me in a way that got me really excited about saying yes, and it felt really right. I really enjoy walking and hiking, but I would never consider myself an athlete. And so there wasn't hesitation in the fact that I felt that I could set my own boundaries of what felt comfortable for me on climbing the rocks. But I was really excited about actually being in Sedona with those rock formations in more of a spiritual way instead of a tourist way. So that's what got me to say yes and be really excited about it. And I was not disappointed. So.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very happy that, well, when I was experiencing it, I wasn't so thrilled. I could feel that you were doubting, and thank you for your transparency in saying that your doubter came up and you weren't sure if this was the right way to go. You used all parts of your entire capacity, including your mind and pros and cons lists. This is something that we've been trained in Western society to do. And at the same time, you were able to meditate. You were able to connect with your core, your spirit, and say yes. And I'm really glad that you did. I do want to add, folks, in case you don't know, I have video clips of Joan hula hooping. So not only were we hiking and walking and meditating together and eating and enjoying ourselves and learning more about one another while learning about ourselves at the same time, we were hula hooping. And so we have both photos as well as videos to attest to the fact that this woman can move her pelvis. You brought up something that I had not heard before. I don't think you mentioned to me before that you'd been there before, and it was with kind of with a touristy perspective. Can you share with me what it was like when you were traveling to Sedona, and then what you experienced there internally, because a lot of people are going through right now a lot of doubting. What should I do? Should I do this? Should I do this? What is the right way to go? So much information's, mountains of information's coming in. Even if you don't watch the news, mountains of information still coming in, because we do need to stay in tune with what the precautions are, the CDC guidelines are, what the governor says, what our, local governments are doing to support us during this very tough time of staying in place and sheltering and sequestering, quarantine, all of that. So perhaps you can share your process so that whoever's watching, and they may think, why are they talking about Sedona? No one's traveling now, be nice, but no one's traveling and all that stuff. So share your process with us so that we can learn what brought you through the doubting into a place where you were very grateful that you joined us. And I'd also love to hear about your life since you've come back from Sedona.
Well, okay, that's a big question.
This is what came, sorry.
What I would share is that in my own personal journey, I feel very connected with nature, and I say a lot that nature is our nature, and I believe that. And so, as an artist, one of the things that I made was a quote that to any question you will find your answer in nature. For therein lies life, death, rebirth, creativity, and transformation. And so the idea of going with a group of people and allowing, that this whole group wanted to go and actually commune with nature as another participant, that we were communing with as a group. We were connecting with the land, and that felt really right. And I feel that collectively it accelerated each of us in our own ways as as we went for whatever reasons. So that the transformational aspect of that, I think, is really important. And the whole life and death process too is that in order to transform, we have to let things pass, and be ready to let go of things that no longer serve us. And right now we're in so much change and uncertainty, and we don't know really what's ahead of us. And that in that same awareness, we also know that it'll never go back to what it was. So so there is the unknown element, but the traveling part, I really enjoy traveling as part of my life. And so I am not canceling that out of my future. I actually still have some plans that I have not canceled. I'm just kind of just waiting and not jumping on. I don't like living from a place of fear. I like living from a place of information that serves me and my nervous system much better. And so, so I'm just waiting. There are events that are after June. And so I'm waiting to see what happens for April and May, and I'll make a decision that's appropriate. And so that includes the October, October event as well. So. I think that answered everything.
Yeah, it did. Thank you. So since you brought up the October event, I'll just be very transparent here. For those of you who don't know how this Sedona retreat manifested and why I have been talking about it and why I've been doing it, the short story is that when I was bedridden with this nerve disorder that set in and I was not able to walk, I was in a wheelchair. When on a good pain day, I could use the walker. You could be on my crutches. And on a really good day, I could use a cane in each hand. So I had two canes. But I had a dream during the time I was bedridden back in 2007, 2008. I can't remember the exact date of the dream. I was dreaming that I was walking in the desert via invitation from two spirits. And when I woke up, I realized, this had to have been a dream because, I couldn't walk. That was a dream that I was walking. And I thought, well, that's a really nice idea, but it's not my reality right now. When I was able to rehabilitate and finally walk, I recalled the dream, and I got hungry to find the desert in which I was walking in the dream. And I have videos and photos in my mind that I can match. I know that when I get to that spot on this planet, it will match perfectly, and I'll know that that was where I was in my dream energetically. Fast forward, during a hike in Sedona, I heard voices near me, and I thought I was hiking by myself. So I stopped, turned around. No one was around me, but I heard these voices say, "Bring them here." And I pretty much thought I hallucinated and ignored it. But when I came home after that trip, I meditated and that came back. And long story short, I was told to build a retreat in 2020, in October of 2020. And when I voiced that to a dear friend of mine in her 70s, she said, "Why are you waiting until 2020? Why not 2019?" Because this conversation took place in 2018. And she said, "You don't have to wait until 2020 to do this retreat, to bring these people here. Clearly, Sedona wants you to be there with people and not just all by yourself, enjoying everything all by yourself." And at that time, I was still really wanting to enjoy everything all by myself. And so 2019, the retreat was called Play and Co-Create. And that's the retreat that you joined me on in preparation for the Power of Play retreat this coming October. And it's true, we do not know. We have tremendous uncertainty. But I will say this, and maybe you can address this, Joan. One of the greatest mantras that came out of our collective playing and co-creating last October in Sedona was this slogan: strength despite uncertainty. And I think that came up while we were in the van driving from Sedona back to Phoenix. And those words came to us as we talked about, we are so energetically and emotionally robust that we can thrive through any uncertainty because the strength that we have is not our own individual human strength. Can you speak to that?
Oh gosh. Yes. I think you're exactly right. And I think that that's part of why it is so important for us to stay connected with nature. And I also think that we're getting a really clear example of it, that in this shutdown or, isolation that we're going through right now, Mother Earth is blooming. She's so happy and she's healing. And I've seen posts about the ozone layer is getting smaller or healing. And this is spring, so things are blooming. And to me, it makes me very aware that we need Mother Earth way more than Mother Earth needs us. the earth will do just fine without us. So we have a choice. We're really at a crossroads that if we continue on the path as a human species that we've been on, then we will self-destruct. It's the writing's on the wall. We have 16-year-olds telling us this. We need to pay attention. And so I think we need to make the decision that our functioning at a higher level is paramount to our connection with the earth. And that there is a reality that we have lived in a culture that has historically tried to diminish and destroy any kind of indigenous culture. And I think this is part of why the Dalai Lama said that it will be Western women that change the world. And I believe that because we as women know that we're connected with nature. And that's part of our heartbeat. That's our intuition. And that's why we get chills on the, on the back of our neck or on our arms. That's that feeling in our gut that says, don't do that. That is the very core of the nature of who we are. And we cannot lose that. And if we stay going the path that we have been, we will. That's just bottom line. And I think we need more women. That's part of my life work that I do, is Red Tent, the compassion work, that we need to awaken more and more women, not to exclude men, but women are on an upswing right now of an acceleration spiritually. And that the more we empower ourselves and awaken, the more we will connect with spirit that will guide us to what our highest work is of why we're on this planet. And so it's not my job to, say, oh, this is what you should be doing. No, my connection is more to support and help the process of awakening men and women to come back and find that power within themselves, where they have that inner connection with spirit and they're guided by their own internal communion and process with spirit. So I think that answered it for you.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. I would love for you to share with everyone. As you know, I'm an EFT tapping practitioner. I don't mind making myself, I look like a monkey when I'm tapping and whatever. And I don't care, because it's great for my internal organs. And when my internal organs are happy, then my body is happy and I'm happy. Actually, on that point, every human being has energy points throughout their whole bodies, right? It's just not just internal, but we tap, and why tapping works is because every point on our skin is connected to a major organ or system within our bodies. So that works. And Mother Earth also has meridian points. So I am really grateful that you brought up that it's true that we need the earth more than she needs us. At the same time, how we connect, how we take care of ourselves is really important, because if we are running around trying to save the planet and we're not taking care of ourselves, that doesn't work, because our meridian points are connected to Mother Earth's meridian points. And I would love for you to talk about your peace poles in that context, because, I've seen and touched your peace poles, not all of them, but some of them. And you brought up the other day that, those are connected to meridian points all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. I'm part of the Peace Pole Garden Project, and that is centered here in Sacramento. But we're also connected with the worldpeace.org, worldpeaceprayersociety.org. And they started the whole concept of peace poles. And the concept is that a peace pole can be an acupuncture needle for peace on the planet. There's over 200,000 on the planet right now. And there's even more than that, because with the compassion work that I do, the Charter for Compassion is a global network, and I work locally with compassionate women and girls, and my office is Compassion Central. So it's kind of the home of a lot of the compassion work. And so we had the resolution passed for Compassion Sacramento, and that was in 2017. So under that umbrella, we have the Peace Pole Garden Project, and the Compassionate Arts Council is something that I'm part of, and so they work with for peace and justice. And so these posts, you can use the acrylic posts that with the World Peace Prayer Society, what they use are the acrylic posts, and you can choose up to 8 different languages. And so if you've done your DNA, you may have different cultures that you want to put in. What I do is with the posts for peace is they paint them. And so they use them as a tangible way for people to communicate with each other, and especially opposing sides. So in Southern California, they do a lot of work with the police departments and communities. And so you have these difficulties that are happening in a community, and you use the post to kind of break down what the issue is, and how people can come together through words, because words have power. And so using words and imagery, that you create that on the post, and then it becomes a symbol of the coming together of opposing sides into one place of peace, which I think it's such a profound experience. So what I do on a local level is I work with companies and schools where they have the option. There are posts for school, or peace poles for schools. And so they can work with just choosing languages. I've gone into classrooms where with 20 students, there are 8 languages that they speak at home. And so I talk with the students to or a business to find out what's important to you. You know, what are the language that as a group, what are all the languages that you speak? So you may speak English in your business, but when you go home, everyone speaks Spanish or Vietnamese, or, you know, all different cultures. And so then you ask, as a community that has come together to create this post, what's important to you? Like, how do you define compassion? What does peace mean to you? And so then people come up with words like compassion, or in fact, here's a tiny peace pole. So, and so the history of it, which I find really fascinating, is I believe this is the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so Masahisa Goi at that time was the original person that started the Peace Pole movement. And that's why collectively we have over 200,000 of just the peace poles on the planet. And so his prayer is, may peace prevail on earth. And that is a noble ask. And right now, because of all this isolation, they're actually calling for the possibilities of all ceasefire. So we may actually experience peace on the planet, which that's a deep breath on that one. So anyway, they do symbolize being an acupuncture needle for peace on the planet. In the year 2014, the city of Carmichael, I produced for 5 years the uh, United Nations International Day of Peace, and the date is September 20th every year. And so I like the concept of education through celebration, that when people are having fun, they're more open to learning. And so that kind of symbolizes the whole event of creating celebration and creating a platform for people to come together. And so we actually planted with the founder of the World Peace Prayer Organization. She came and did a flag ceremony, and we planted that needle for peace, the acupuncture needle for peace on the planet in Carmichael. And so that stays in my building. So long story, kind of medium long, is a whole possibility. And you can build a fence with your family, and just have the kids create. You can put your handprints on them. There's all different things you can do, and that is a super fun project that if you're at home and you don't know what to do with your kids, have them paint your fence. Like, how cool is that? But do it with words and images and handprints, and have fun doing it, so so that's a summation. I could go on, but we only have an hour. So.
Lovely. Thank you, Joan. Hey, for those of you who are watching and listening, now you know why I just so needed to connect with her, and I'm grateful that I have. So let me ask you, I have some photos that I've taken. I'm going to probably run them by you before I post anything, because I like to get people's permission. I have photos of some of your peace poles, that some of your artwork as well. For those of you who haven't guessed yet, Joan is a fabulous, fantastic artist. She's a photographer, she's a painter, you name it. It's the word infinite really applies here. This woman's list of gifts and gifts that she has expressed and given herself permission to bring to fruition during her lifetime here on planet Earth. It's a very, very long list. So back to the photos. I'll dig up those photos and I'll run them by you, and I hope to be able to post them alongside your website. Which website would you like people to get in touch with you through?
Well, at this point, everything goes to the same place. So, because I actually wear a lot of hats, as you said, and like most women on the planet, we wear a lot of hats. That's just the way we roll. We are our brains are multitaskers. So we can juggle more than one thing at a time. It's cool. That's part of being a mom too, So, but I do. So CompassionCentral.us is my kind of mothership. And then I have a lot of things under that. So I have Magdalene's Mirth, which is more of my own personal art. It'll take you to the Compassion Central, and you just have to look for it on the menu. So there's Mirth to Earth that does graphics and printing. So we do that. And then Magdalene's Mirth is more of my deeper women's work. I feel very connected with the archetype of Mary Magdalene. So that's part of the whole Magdalene thing. And then Enter the Orchid is more of the meditation and using art as a form of communication and elevation of consciousness. And then Compassion Central kind of lets you know all the different things that I'm involved in. And if people want to get involved in the compassion work, they can create more compassion in their city. That's the whole concept, is to bring more compassion into our awareness, and takes 3 generations to really plant and implement a concept. So if we start that with our children, then we will continue to grow as a more compassionate world. So compassioncentral.us.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And you brought up, this is a multi-generational, intergenerational effort. Yes. What we do for self-care on a daily basis is not only for, staying healthy, robust, so that we can serve from a place of plenty, but we are serving as healthy role models for the younger generations as well as the older generations. I've been told that, from some of the older folks, the Vibrant Tribe is predominantly 50 plus. So we're 50 plus, and we are proving to ourselves and to the world that we can be vibrant at any age. And so for the younger generation, learning some of what we've learned so that they can have tools and they can participate with us, that's awesome. And then also people who are in the 70 to 90.
Yeah. I would love to comment on that.
Go ahead.
I feel that we are the role models for the people coming after us. And so we want to show them that whatever age we are, we need to be alive while we're here and celebrate that. So I work in hospice. That's another, as a massage therapist, that's one of the things that I do. So I'm very aware of the life and death process, and doing that, that makes you want to embrace life more, because you realize what a short time we're here. And so it makes you ask, like, what is my legacy? What am I leaving behind? What matters to me? And so that's part of who we are. And I am very interested in the journey as a woman. And so I like exploring history. And in the last 2,000 years, we really need to acknowledge this is the first time, because of all of the things that have happened on the planet that have exterminated women. Bottom line, culturally, we have been diminished and hurt, and it has become an unsafe place for women to be. And we're addressing that. That's part of why I've been involved with the Vagina Monologues, because they're working to stop violence towards women. But a big piece of that is going to come through the education of men, because men don't want to hear women telling them that there's a problem. It's going to need to happen from men telling other men this is an issue. So this is the first time in over 2,000 years that there have been this many women on the planet that are over 50. So we really need to let that sink in. And what that means, because the gift of becoming a crone, and back to our very beginning of our conversation, in that the power of words, that crone, if you look it up now in the dictionary, it's going to be a negative. It's going to say, a witch or a crabby woman. It's a negative connotation. But the original core is about crown, and it applied to men and women. And it's about owning and standing in the crowning of your wisdom as an elder. Like, how cool is that? So, yeah, so this is the time for us to really embrace being a crone and not seeing it as a negative, that we are always in a life-death process. Look at a rose bush. If you look at the seasons, we're always in the process of life, death, life. And yeah, I could totally go on about that, but I do think it's really important that as elders, we own our wisdom and we value the information coming in. These children that are coming in are very wise and they have a lot of information to share. So there's a whole wisdom coming in where we honor each other. We have something to learn from every generation. Thank God, that's, and goddess. So those are great things to embrace and celebrate. Hey, all of us are here on the planet right now. What can we learn from each other that'll bring good into the world instead of destroying what we all need to survive on? So it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
Okay, Vibrant Tribe. I love alliterations and playing with words. We have 3 C's here. We have crone, crown, bring them together, celebration. Get that? See that visual? So take the concept of crone, the original concept, which is crown, whether you're male or female, owning it and wearing the crown, owning the wisdom that we have, celebrating the wisdom that we have. And I want to ask a quick question to Joan because, our Sedona Superteam is comprised of men and women. Mm-hmm. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Thank you for bringing that up, because that was one of the other things that made me say yes, is that in my spiritual journey, it's been a huge amount of women. And I think that's why we're kind of women focused right now, because women are really accelerated and men just haven't fully caught up. There's a lot of men that are, but I was really interested to be in the presence of men that wanted to commune at a higher level, that they already got it. They weren't needing, to know on a basic level what it means to commune with ourselves on an inner level and as a group and with nature. So that, that kind of 3-tiered process was really exciting to me. And I love men. I love male energy, and I really want to honor them. And it's a hard kind of slippery slope in that a lot of the problems that have been created have been the core of men that are not on the right track. And so that needs to be addressed. And so there is a lot of pain around male created trauma, although men are suffering from that as well. And so and that's where I think getting into the concept of the divine masculine and the divine feminine and how that dwells within each of us, and that we need to embrace those polarities and bring those into a state of oneness inside ourselves. So then that creates an arena for men to step up to the highest divinity of who they really are and why they're here. And the men, the caliber showed up for that, I was really, really impressed by, and just the beauty of their souls and who they are was really beautiful. And their comfort of being around women um, allowed that to step forth, and us really being allowed to honor them as high caliber men. I think it was really healing in a lot of ways for each one of us, in that process.
Yeah. Thank you, Joan. And I will just kind of speak on their behalf. They were honored to meet with you and spend time with you as well. We really became a family, really
We
became a
did.
family. I just want to take a half second to acknowledge that you're absolutely right. There are, with our movement in awakening, acknowledging, and addressing what women have been through, I have worked with many men who have been on the battered side of abuse in their relationships and have personal experience in working and getting help for men who have been abused, not only physically, but verbally, psychologically, emotionally battered, and sexually molested, battered, abused. So, for anyone watching, know that we are we are really honoring the one and the zero, and we're really honoring the masculine and the feminine, and really dialing into asking for support from the universe, from Mother Earth, to help us come to a place within ourselves individually to make peace within ourselves. And as some of you know, I have always felt like a boy in a girl's body, a woman, a woman on the outside, but really dialed into how men think and feel and make decisions. So I've walked this fine line for decades now, and I connect with a lot of men who are very in touch with their feminine sides, and a lot of women who are very in touch with their masculine sides. And so it's not about how we look. It's not about the bodies we're born into. It's about our experience on this planet. And I saw you nod.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I really want to comment that I do think that a lot of part of why so many women have been on the spiritual journey is so we don't approach men from our shadow, and the work that we had to do internally, that we don't want to behave in a way that hurts men or women,
Right.
and so we're all vulnerable, like you said, that to be able to walk from a place of vulnerability is that's courage. And the core root of courage is heart, core. It's French for heart. And so that means we have to come from an open heart. And that's why acknowledging the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us makes us need to be responsible and explore our own integrity of how we use the power within ourselves in how we treat other people and ourselves. And so it's an ongoing lesson. It doesn't mean we're perfect. We make
Right.
mistakes, but that's part of how we learn. And I think if we hold the intent of coming from a place of compassion and heart and tenderness for the human experience, then we're on more of an equal ground and less likely. It's not that we'll never hurt anyone, but that we won't have the intention of hurting someone. And so that makes it a different arena to address that hurt and build a common ground and heal and learn from the experience. So.
Right. Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you, Joan. I could talk to you for another 8 hours, but we're going to wrap up now. I want to remind everyone that compassioncentral.us, that's compassioncentral.us, is the place to go. That's her umbrella, her portal into her world, her very diverse world, eclectic world, colorful world. I will just say colorful world. And feel free to stay in touch with Joan now that I've introduced Joan to you, Vibrant Tribe, and consider these numerous topics that we've brought up. And it is absolutely not easy to go through what we're going through now with tremendous uncertainty. But hold on to this mantra: strength despite uncertainty. Strength. We all are energy power plants. We all are energy power plants. Every cell in our bodies are power plants, and we breathe in and we exhale and we generate more energy. I don't remember exactly how many volts the human body generates. I think at rest stage, I think it's about 242 volts. Somebody can correct me, or anyhow, we do generate electricity. And so don't think that it's all exterior. We are power plants in ourselves. And so cultivate your power plant, as Joan has, as I do, as we do together as a tribe. And that's enough out of me. I would like to offer the last minute or so to Joan. Anything you would like to share with everyone before we say goodbye for now?
Thank you so much, Ilana, for this opportunity. And I would love to offer the concept that each of us are sacred gardeners. So what are we planting? We are the connection between heaven and earth. And we're the acupuncture needle for peace on the planet. And so by connecting up and down, we're connected with heaven, we're connected with earth, and let's love and be loved. And I hope to see you and meet you soon.
Fantastic, fantastic. We are the acupuncture peace needles, acupuncture needles. Well, she said it more gracefully, eloquently. So you get the concept. Heaven, earth, we're here, we're connecting, and we thrive. So until next time, oh, by the way, Joan does have a free gift, and we will include that information on the page where you will find links to this recording, links to her website, and links to her free gifts. So thank you so much. Be vibrant right here, right now. Take good care of yourself. And as always, from the heart, the kid in me salutes the kid in you. Blessings, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us in this very moment on Instant Gratitude Now. May you transform something you perceive as awful into something awesome today and every day to broadcast vibrancy everywhere.